What's good, YouTube? It's your boy SB, aka the Concept King. I am the Concept King, undisputed. Today I'm just gonna be showing a quick video about a concept. By the way, all the concepts that I bring to you have been tried and true. They all work. And they all work perfectly. That's the only reason I'm putting it on YouTube. So every concept I have tried myself and it works. I guess you just gotta work it. All right, so here's the concept I'm gonna bring to you guys today. It's basically a ranking system to where the leader doesn't have to do nothing. You can just sit back and the whole alliance just runs itself. Okay, so you have several departments. You have the Department of Defense, Department of Treasury, Department of Enlistment, Department of Political Affairs, and Department of Justice. Okay, now the reason, brief explanation, the reason I put these departments is because usually you have the leader and our force just running the whole alliance and making sure people donate and dealing with, you have like one person being a diplomat and dealing with other alliances and shit, and you'll have just the leader and our force saying who to attack, when to attack, how to do it, what to do, shit like that. It's a lot for just 2 people or 3 people just to do it. So I created these departments so people could be in charge of certain things, and it won't be no question who's in charge of what. We already know who's in charge of what. You know what your position is. You do your job. All right, so let me start with the Department of Defense. The ranking is Minister of Defense, War General, Commander, and Sergeant. The War Minister, Minister of Defense, is basically, if we're going to war, he's the first in command. Whatever he says goes. So if he says attack this castle using this strategy, let's say colors for names. Yo, blue, you go here. Green, you go here. Yellow, you go here. Such etc. He's the top dog as far as war. When war is going on, he's the one that's calling the shots. But you have people under him as the War General, Commander, and Sergeant. So say if he's not online, right? The War General will step up and he'll be in charge as far as war. If he's not online, then the Commander will be on, and Sergeant, so forth. If you don't really understand what I'm trying to say, then comment on the video and I'll explain it a little more. I'm just trying to get through these quickly. Then you have the Department of Treasury. Department of Treasury is donations. That's all it is. I just give it a fancy name. It's donations. So you have the Minister of Treasury. He is the one that's making sure everyone donates. He's making sure everyone donates what they're supposed to be donating. You will be demoted if you aren't following the donation guidelines and so forth. And you have the Secretary of Treasury that's helping him run donations, as well as accountant and bookkeeper. The only difference between the accountant and bookkeeper is they are actually watching and taking note more meticulously than the minister and the secretary of exactly how much a person is donating. Now, I'm just trying to go through this quick. So, Department of Enlistment. Enlistment is recruiting. So, you have the Minister of Enlistment. So, say we recruiting some people or whatever. Somebody wants to be recruited. He sends a alliance request. It will go through the enlistment, Minister of Enlistment, and the Enlistment General, and the Enlistment Officer, and so forth. So, the Minister of Enlistment will make sure that the person that is trying to be recruited or trying to join isn't a spy, meets criteria, isn't too weak, where it's like no point in having that person in the alliance. And the Enlistment General is basically helping him do that job. Now, the only difference between the Enlistment Officer is the Enlistment Officer is actually You know, the one that's putting it on loudspeaker that we're recruiting, paying the 200 gold to announce it on loudspeaker. He's actually going out and trying to recruit people. That's the only thing that's different between enlistment officer and enlistment minister in general. The general is just, they're the ones that when a person wants to join, they're interviewing him and making sure they meet all criteria, making sure that a spy doesn't get through. Now, Department of Political Affairs, that should be self-explanatory, but basically it's diplomacy. I don't even know if I said that word right. You got the head of state. He's the one that builds all relationships with all other alliances, you know, that are allies, enemies, and so forth. You know, he's the one that's really dealing with, well, all of them are dealing with other alliances, but he's the one that, you know, if a leader of, say, the alliance is SHC, the leader of SHC will know to go to the head of state and talk to him about any problems that's going on between alliances, any discrepancies, anything that has to do with our alliance and his alliance. He goes to the head of state as well as the secretary of state. The senator and ambassador is the ones that's actually going to go to other alliances and message them and possibly try to create allies. You know, they're the ones that's going to go to possibly an enemy and try to create peace. They all of them, head of state, secretary of state, senator, and ambassador, they're all in charge of doing that, but each one has a specific task. The head of state is just in charge of the whole department. So any discrepancies or any problems, they will go to the head of state when it comes to political affairs. Now, this next and last department is kind of controversial. I tried it. You know, it works, but I think it has the most problems. It's Department of Justice. And at the top, you have the Supreme Judge, but there's two heads of this department. There's the Supreme Judge, and then there's the Inspector General. Okay, now the Inspector General is this. He's basically the police officer of the alliance. If a person or a member or a few members aren't doing their jobs, if they're breaking rules, if they're attacking people, when specifically the war general, the minister of defense, or the leaders of the alliance specifically said to not attack a specific alliance or any member, to not attack, and if they are actually still attacking or they're breaking specific rules that the leaders have made, or guidelines that the leader has made, the Inspector General is the one that is supposed to catch when a person is doing wrong and not following the rules and doing whatever the fuck they want, basically. Now, what he would do is he would reprimand the member or members. He would bring the issue and exactly what that person did to the Supreme Judge. The Supreme Judge would then see if that person deserves any type of punishment. The Supreme Judge will either demote that person, will either just give him a warning, will either kick him out. I have a new type of punishment as well. It's kind of controversial too, where the person doesn't get kicked out permanently. The person just get kicked out. He gets attacked by the strongest player. He's going to lose some troops and some power. And then he can come back to the alliance. Or he can just get kicked out forever. But that's just a form of punishment that I was thinking about. Then you have the judge and the inspector. The inspector works under the Inspector General. And he helps him, you know, basically uphold the law. Now the judge and the Supreme Judge work together in punishment and things like that. Alright, just a quick concept. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you did something like this before. Like I said, it's just a concept. I tried it before and it has worked. So please comment, subscribe, and like. Thank you.